how did life strip your kindness away?
Armies sent me to war, and I seen way too much death and destruction. People blown up, burned alive, and a video of a contractor that was kidnapped off our post, who had his throat slit slowly, and he died gagging for his last breath. Ever since then my motto has been stay quiet, but always have a plan to kill everyone. Sad and badass. It happened somewhere around 5th grade or middle school. The moment when you start to feel shame for being yourself. The moment you feel embarrassed for the things you do. And the moment when people tell you that you aren't funny and that no one likes you. I'm pretty sure this is what happens to most. But then again you'll get some people who have had some crazy shitty experiences.
College paying for bills forever while trying to help my parents' bills. It's been nearly 6 years since I started my undergrad and college. I should be graduating this year 2020 hopefully. I literally hate my college for bleeding me dry, but I've invested so much time at the school I'm stuck there. It's made me bitter over the years. I thought this said kidneys and I was very confused as to when life stole my kidneys. Did you go to Candy Mountain recently? Kindness never got me anywhere except for getting screwed over. I somehow still continue to try being nice, but honestly can't make an effort because it's never helped me.
This was me. It feels like shit. Then I was taught about discernment. Don't give your kindness to everyone. Treat everyone with social decency, then be kind to the people who are decent to you. It helps you weed out the arseholes. Not foolproof, but it's working well for me, and when I find other kind people in the world, I befriend them and make a real effort to stay in contact, because it makes this journey much more enjoyable. I hope you find other kind people on your journey. Take care of you. It me home pretty hard. I treat people good unless they treat me bad. The bad ones came back because they wanted to take advantage of me, but I just showed them where the door is. Law school. Second Amendment sucks.
Life can't strip away your kindness. Sure, it can make you feel like it for a while, but it's always there, deep down. People don't have any excuse not to be kind to others, even if their life is a mess. From a young age I realized that most people aren't going to be nice to you, just because you're nice to them, so I have been a bitch ever since. Interacting with humans. I think if anything, it cemented it more for me. I didn't used to be a super nice person, and I don't think anyone would currently describe me as it. But when you start noticing the small things all around us or listening to people's stories, it kinda makes you wanna just give them a hug or tell them they're doing great.
I'm still a kind person, but seeing videos and hearing stories of people abusing and killing animals, and knowing that people post videos of it on the internet as some form of entertainment can make me feel so bitter towards people and so helpless, knowing that no matter how much I could do in my lifetime, I can't make it stop. I get this so much. Just knowing there are a lot of people in this world who aren't good, kind people, and who do such horrible things, makes you feel so useless and bitter. Humans are a horrible, selfish species. Life's only made me more empathetic. I periodically lose my mind from time to time, and now I guess I understand that nobody is really in control of some of the crazy shit they do. Working in call centers for 12 years.
Some people just force you to be mean to them or else they'll walk all over you. I know a number of people who tried to order me around or try to make me the butt of jokes when they saw I wasn't mean to people. They backed off immediately when they saw I'm actually really quick to anger. I worked in the service industry, working with the public, customer service and front desk in a medical office. People can be mean, condescending, and assume the worst about you, even though you're just trying to do your job. Growing up being beat every day till eventually you're on your own at a young age. The streets teach you kindness is weakness, and weakness will get you hurt or killed.
Life didn't. People did. Watching the former best friend of 9 years that forced me to perform sexual acts on him get everything in life. While I worked extremely hard through high school. No friends. Failed relationships. Working 2 jobs barely above minimum wage. Depressed. Paying college tuition out of pocket. Alone. Socially inept. However, I always stay kind. As quiet as I am, I will always smile at you. I will always listen. I will laugh at your jokes. Inside I am depressed. I am sad. But I will devote my full attention to whoever is in front of me in order to make sure they're happy. Other don't need to suffer because of the suffering that I've been through. Be kind unto other always. I've been grinding and stacking that bread. But with money comes fake friends and they were all buddy-buddy with me, but once I moved away no one knows me.
Driving down a rural road. Saw car stuck in ditch. See family in car and stop. I drove at a 4x4 at the time and had tow straps with me. Offer to pull them out. I hook up a 40 feet tow strap and explain that I'll pull them just enough to get them free and to be very careful. Man says he understands. I start pulling and he goes pedal to the metal, flying out of the ditch, crashing into my truck and ripping the tow strap off. I get out asking what the heck he's doing, and he says he can't have his kids see him get arrested. He drives off. I call cops and most of an hour later one shows up to tell me there's a warrant for his arrest and that it was a stolen car. I don't know what it is, but as a black guy for the longest time, if I was around black people, then my kindness would be taken as a weakness. There's a reason why I don't smile around black people I don't know, and if a dude I don't know is overly friendly to me, then I feel like it's a setup. There's obviously exceptions to this rule, like the setting and stuff.
I recently talked to an old ex of mine that ended things mutually. We went out when we were 14, I am now 24. So I contacted her because I've lost memory of my past due to something unknown, and as I talked to her, I asked her if I was ever an asshole or a douchebag. Turns out I was the opposite. She told me I was very kind and respectful to her. She said I'd always rush to people in need and that I was a bit of a pushover. I remember being helpful back then, but not all this. She told me that I was always patient and very optimistic, and how he was also ambitious, talking about how I wanted to do so much later in life. It shocked me when she told me all of this because the current me isn't like that anymore. People say I'm an asshole, but the good kind. I'm no longer a pushover, and honestly, I'm still pretty damn optimistic and ambitious. Not sure what changed me, but I miss the old me. Not yet, I'd say. Trying to learn to not be bitter and hold on to grudges. More peaceful and joyful this way. The American education system, my school specifically, and how some of the adults in my life acted. I still hold a shred of kindness, one that is respect given to anyone I meet, but if they prove unworthy of said respect, they lose that kindness.
After a very bad, almost mind-shattering, anxiety attack, I taught myself how to build walls. I'm a much more sarcastic person now, thanks to my sly comments and self-deprecation. I have a lot to work on, but I'm sweet to those who matter. You can't always play by the book, or luck is all you can rely on. I noticed that life got significantly easier after I started to get more selfish and sometimes play a little dirty. You can't be successful and kind to be kind. You have to stop your pursuit of your dreams and ambitions to stop and lift everyone else up to successful. You have to be ruthless in your goal to be at the top. I learned it the hard way. Just being broke my whole life. I can't afford even what everybody takes for granted, so I have started resenting society in whole, and while I'm not a psychopath, I do tend to drift towards chaotic evil in my mentality. I hate everybody and abso-freaking-love it when misfortune falls upon someone.
When I was younger, I used to be kind to everyone, and when I meant kind, I meant walking into school giving everyone in my year money, taking them out on picnics, buying them food, and even helping them. However, as I grew older, everyone took my kindness for advantage, which slowly stripped my kindness away. And now I'm only kind to people who are kind to me. Romantic failure and insanity. Everyone kept taking advantage of me, and no one did much in return. So now I don't go out of my way to be nice, and I've cut off a lot of people. Got bullied in school, among other things. It made me develop trust issues that I am still trying to resolve, making me less kind of a person.
I was volunteer working for a charity helping the long-term unemployed get back into work. Turns out most of them are a bunch of workshy liars and parasites. The number of disabled people we had come in that we had seen up and running about was just unbelievable. One guy came in on 2 sticks. I had to fetch him a special chair. My boss then pointed out to him standing casually hopping around outside the pub, totally hammered in full view of the office. I've seen him run for the bus as well. Sadly, this sort of shit was commonplace. Most of the long-term disabled were disabled by their alcohol habit or by staying up all night playing Fortnite. So I somewhat lack kindness when it comes to state welfare cases now. Seen too many bullshit cases. I'm hanging in there. But kind doesn't usually win. Ruthless wins. That's easy betrayal. Same as most people.
Raised by a mother who was more worried about whether the house was clean than whether I felt safe. Started getting hassled by bullies at school. The harassment escalated into physical violence, which I neither provoked nor reciprocated, and she still took sides with the bullies, explicitly assessing blame to me for their violent choices. Thanks, Mom. I didn't know that I could magically force bullies to harass and attack me against their own wills. How terrible that must have been for them. That was the moment I decided, fuck this, I'm out. I'm going to live with Dad. Went to live with Dad. Turns out Dad is the worst bully in my life. Abused by him for the next 10 years. During that 10 years, the bullying at school continues on a regular basis. Regarding the harassment, responses from the school's authority figures are a combination of after years of watching kids be shitty to each other. I've given up and I sympathize with arrogant butterfly, but I have no actual power or authority and can't do anything to control the bullies, so they are no help. Add in the fact that I'm a skinny nerd, so high school girls avoided me. Even the compassionate ones still had to avoid the social stigma of associating with me. Imagine that just liking a person platonically is an actual insult, e.g. you're such a loser, I bet you even hang out with arrogant butterfly and you'll have some idea what they were up against. So abusive, negligent parents, bullying both at home and at school, and a nerd to boot. Shittiness trifecta. By the time I finally finished high school, I was painfully aware that my life doesn't matter and no one gives a shit what happens to me. It's really hard to be compassionate or empathic toward others when you know no one cares whether you live or die. I still have compassion for some people in some circumstances, but there are plenty of circumstances in which I don't believe the person in question deserves any compassion because I don't believe they would show compassion to me if our circumstances were reversed.
I've grown into a 42-year-old virgin who hates himself and is convinced that women only keep men around to move heavy things and pay bills. I'm not ready to go step off that bridge myself, but if I buy it tomorrow in a car collision, I won't complain. I was at a wedding last weekend that had a cash bar, and they had prices posted on the wall behind them. I went up and ordered a drink and handed her the money including a buck tip. She immediately threw it all in the tip jar. I gave her the WTF face and she said, "Oh, the father of the bride is covering everything until dinner." So I ordered 3 more drinks and didn't tip for the rest of the night. Fuck her.